John Logie Bird, born in Helensburgh, Western Berkshire, was responsible for inventing television. He demonstrated the first working television system in January 1926. In 1927, the first television pictures were broadcast over a distance of 438 miles of ordinary phone lines from Alexandra Palace to Grand Central Hotel at Glasgow Central Railway Station.
I first began working in television so long ago I can hardly remember. I think it was 1988. I was working in a fruit shop in Great Western Road at the time, and a guy I'd met in a nightclub and got on quite well with asked one of my pals to contact me to say he had a job that I might be interested in.
When I graduated a long time ago, I was thinking about what job I would do or would like to get into, and the first job I heard of, just by chance, there was a job going as a stagehand at Tyne Tees Television. I was a student in Newcastle, so I was in Newcastle anyway, and I heard of this job going as stagehand, so I applied for the job. Didn't hear another thing about it. I didn't hear a thing about it for 5 whole months, by which time I'd gone down to London, and all of a sudden I heard this, I'd been asked if I want to come up for an interview. So I said, sure enough. I just came straight back up from London to Newcastle and went along for that job. Now, I didn't get the job. They didn't think that was a suitable job for me, but they said to me, would you like a job as a temporary driver? And I said, yeah, I'd absolutely love a job as a temporary driver. So I gave 1 day's notice to Harrods where I was working, straight back up to Newcastle, and I got a job as a temporary driver. And that's how I started my career in television.
I was pleased to get a job in television because I was working in a fruit shop and not earning a lot of money. And I'd done a certain amount of training. I'd done a degree in film and media studies. I'd worked as a journalist for a year and I was working in a fruit shop, bagging spuds and selling carrots. So to be able to use the training and education I'd put some effort into was really important to me. It was also bit more fun.
I'm going to make a decision now. I would like to get into not so much television, but the world of the movie, if you like. The movie world is what I really wanted to do. So really it wasn't a matter of influential factors. It was more that I had to make a decision. That's what I'd enjoyed at college, and that's the career I wanted to pursue. So that's how I did it.
I think working in the media in general was really appealing. I think as I cast my mind back and kind of the history of my involvement when I was in primary school, in our nativity play, the story of Jesus and his birth, I played the role of a radio reporter on the spot, holding my dad's Grundig tape recorder and pretending to be a radio reporter. So I think I always wanted to be involved in the media, and to get a job in television was, I thought it was quite exciting. It was cool.
Well, I suppose I didn't know that much about television, what it actually meant to work in it, but certainly from the outside, I think it looks to everyone as if it's a glamorous world, and it was whatever I thought about it before I went in. It turned out to be in many ways much better than I had expected.
Well, television has got a very appealing side to it. I mean, it's very similar to cinema, the cinema world, if you like, movies, because it's a creative industry. It's very interesting. In fact, whatever you do, you can get a lot of enjoyment out of the simplest things. So I ended up as an editor at first of all the BBC and then STV, and everything I did, whether it was a news story, whether it was sports, it was always enjoyable to do, never mind some of the more challenging projects such as drama, for instance. But I used to go home and always feel I'd achieved something. Every day was different, so that's why I wanted to get into television. I had several other options, but television, let's say, was the most creative and yet practical job to get into. Well paid and a very good career all round.
I think experience, ambition and perseverance are really important. I don't think you can get a job in television without some kind of experience, and I think you have to be committed, hardworking and dedicated to get there. And to get through that recruitment process is really, really hard. So you have to have something about you that makes you special, I think. And one of the best ways to do it is to be involved in production. To do an HND course is a really good idea because you learn all the production skills. But you also need to go that little bit further, to be passionate, excited, and to actually make telly. I think people now, because the technology is much more accessible, people expect folk who want to work in telly to make telly.
If you have a previous experience, it's bound to do you a lot of good. To try and get any job in any way, then sure enough that's bound to be useful for you. And in my case, I had done the Tyne Tees, for instance. Basically, I was in the end a film crew driver. But then I applied for this job at the BBC as assistant film editor, and I really doubt if I would have got the job as assistant film editor when there was such competition for a job at the BBC if I hadn't had a year's experience at Tyne Tees Television.
The independents have a very important role to play in British broadcasting. Each of our main broadcasters has a quota which has to go to independent production companies. So there's always going to be work in that area unless they change the rules. And I think because of their independent nature, they're also creative and daring and do kind of programmes that the main broadcasters might not be brave enough to, but also might not think of doing. The independent sector, with its turnover of creative staff, brings new and exciting ideas to British telly and its viewers.
Since the death of John Logie Bird in June 1946, many technological advances have been made in the television industry, but the principles still remain the same. The 30-line system that Baird invented still remains the basis of mechanical working televisions. The development of the television has changed people's view of society by opening up a whole new variety of information, and it's changed the world as we know it.